ready to desensitize, but this girl's got you on her mind. Something about your walk, talk, smile so bright, kinda something like my kryptonite. I'm not easy, believe me, but I know what I want. It's special, original, so let's have some fun. You're staring and I'm daring, I'm so ready to dance. Bring your body real close to me, whole lot of romance. What's your fantasy? You and me tonight. Let's let the trace. You and me tonight.
Hey, it's your girl Phoenix Nobel. Thank you guys for tuning into my video. This is Musicians on Gigs Artist Spotlight, and today I am going to be talking about my experience working with ELLive Productions. First and foremost, I've been overseas since 2008, and I absolutely love this lifestyle as a traveling performer, DJ, singer, entertainer. It's what I was made to do. You know what I'm saying? In the States, I was just not living. I wasn't thriving. I was surviving and existing and trying to find my way. But as soon as I came overseas, I realized that, people actually, treat you like a star and welcome you and take care of you and pay you and everything for your talent. I was just like, wow. So I came overseas and I was introduced to ELLive Productions. And the first time that I was introduced to them, I did not actually start working with them. I stayed, I kind of spent my first, 5-6 years as an independent contractor, maybe a little bit longer, because I felt more in control that way, and I wanted to travel the world, but I also liked the idea of kind of like joining full-on bands and just being with this venue for 3 months and being here for this month. And actually, the time that I did decide to join ELLive, and I felt like, okay, I'm tired of kind of bouncing around. I want to join an agency or a production company and just kind of see what that experience will be like. They approached me, the CEO, Georges Elchikia, he actually approached me about a new concept that he was starting, which was to take over the whole entertainment experience of the DJ as well as the live band with a non-stop, easy, seamless, kind of continuous flow of entertainment. And I thought it was just a brilliant idea. So we talked about it for a little while and kind of like, bounced ideas off of each other. And then eventually I signed on the dotted line and I joined the company. And this ELLive Productions was the only production house or agency that I've joined that kind of like puts together bands from like scratch and actually shops them around to different venues. And, you sign with them for like a year or whatever, usually, and they kind of like, they're basically your booking agent, if you will, in a sense. It's the first company that I actually had doing that for me. The first time I came overseas, I had a booking agent, but she was just kind of like for that one venue that I had. And after that one venue finished, I was like supposed to look for my own gigs. But ELLive, they have a team. It's a very family-oriented kind of setup where they have almost like a boot camp kind of setup where you're at this location that has dorm-style rooms for you and a rehearsal space for you to like meet your new band members and practice with them, and photo shoots and sound checks and rehearsal schedules and everything that you need to prepare before you're actually thrown on the gig. I thought that was probably the coolest thing about their company, that they're not just actually like, they don't just have a database of artists that they just put the right people together in a package together and just like ship them off, and where they're meeting for the first time at the venue. I've heard stories about companies that do that. I've been in wedding bands and been with wedding companies before, like in the USA, in my hometown, where sometimes people sell you for events and corporate events and weddings and stuff without you actually taking the time to practice and spend time like honing your skills and creating great sounds and a great show with other artists. Some of them are just about that, the bottom line at the end of the day, and kind of have this mentality of fingers crossed, we'll see what the pot churns out. ELLive doesn't take that approach, and that's one thing that I really did like about them. They don't necessarily break up a band that's cohesive and working well together, so you actually get a chance to build something, and that was very different from me, since I actually like the idea of being independent and moving around. But with that being the case, you're not really building anything with the team and making something solid as it can be, because 3 months here and then you're gone, your feet aren't really planted. And ELLive kind of gave me an opportunity to experience that, and that was pretty cool. And so when I came in, ELLive Productions hired a DJ to teach me how to DJ. So that's actually how I got my foot in the door as a DJ. And it was really cool. I liked it because it was different from what I had been doing for years on my own, just singing, and which is great, but like just having that extra skill, something else to add to my resume was one of the reasons why I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm in. And that was a cool experience. I'm still DJing to this day, even though I'm not a part of ELLive, and I'm just extremely grateful for that, because they never asked me for a dime, never asked to recoup that money back, and they knew it was a skill that they were actually helping me cultivate well beyond whatever I would do with them. So I'm still very grateful. Thank you, G. I appreciate that. But yeah, we put a team together and we actually started gigging. And in terms of the gigs, I'll say one of the things that I found to be the most unpredictable sometimes was, you're traveling around internationally. You don't always know where you're going to stay. Sometimes you really do luck up and you're in villas, 7 and 8 star villas, and your food allowance budget is like through the roof, and you just feel like a queen and a king, and you feel like you're on top of the world. And then another contract, the accommodations may not be as plush as the last venue. And sometimes I think that's probably one of the biggest issues that I would have, is because I wasn't always sure if where I was headed I was going to be as comfortable as where I was. And you don't want to have to think about that, but a lot of artists do. We want to know where we're living. We want to know if we have to share, bathrooms with somebody else. We want to know if we'll be living in a hotel. We want to know if we'll be able to get room service. You want to know if you have the same perks at the next venue as this one, because if you don't, then maybe you want to stay on this contract. So there was a little uncertainty sometimes with that, because not all contracts are made equally. Not all venues are the same. Some are really better than others in terms of, living that 5-star life. And a lot of artists won't take a gig just because of that. I can honestly say I've never stayed anywhere where I felt unsafe. With ELLive, the fact that they have a very familial setting is one of the things that drew me in as a single woman, independently traveling around and kind of managing and representing myself for so long. Joining them made me feel like I didn't have to worry about, my business being taken care of and being looked at like a target or easy mark for people who were not necessarily looking to do business on the up and up. ELLive makes sure that you have a work permit. They make sure that you are safe. They make sure that you're being taken care of. And another cool thing is that the people who started the company are still involved in it. It hasn't become so big to the point that you can't talk to the CEO or the COO. They instilled that in you when you join the company, that they take pride of the fact that they're very close. It's a family knit situation. They love, they eat together, they fight and argue just like family do. But at the end of the day, they're all musicians, which is another cool thing. It's not just business. It's these guys love this industry and they love the music and they love what they do, and the fact that they've been able to give the opportunity for others to leave their home countries and perform and get paid to do what they love to do as well. I would recommend ELLive because of the fact that you don't have to worry about a lot of things in terms of safety and making sure that your contract is on the up and up, and making sure that people actually give a damn about whether or not you're safe, whether or not you're healthy, whether or not you're working legally. The pay with ELLive is not the biggest pay that you can make, but it is the most consistent, in terms of making sure that you do get paid on time, making sure that you do have work available. And that's the thing about looking for jobs that you want to have long term and pay more. There's not a whole lot of them, because a lot of times with the jobs that pay more, they're usually on a fixed schedule. Like, okay, you can only be here for 3 months and then we want to change a face, or they overshot and then they pay you more than they can afford to pay you, and then they're closed down or shut down, or then they fire you within a very short period of time because they realize that there's no way they can carry on, because maybe the venue isn't making money, or they realize that they can get locals who can accept less, So with ELLive, they've managed to keep themselves stable, because they pay what they know that they pay what's fair, and they pay what they feel like they can consistently maintain for guaranteed employment for the artists that they hire, which is actually, it's more security in the long run if you're looking to work longer than just coming out and doing 3 months. Because if you're just looking to do a shorter contract, then you'll probably look for ones who pay a little bit money, because you're not really investing that much time. But overall, I enjoyed knowing that there was an establishment out there like that. Because sometimes I have to use the example of me being a woman, because, we have to be careful. Some countries you go to and some cultures don't respect women as much as others do, and some of them will pay you less, or don't want to hire you as a band manager, or don't really look at you as capable, or just make you feel like you're less than a man. With having representation, and then also having a company like ELLive behind you, kind of takes the pressure off of you in that sense, and allows you to just focus on your artistry. There are pros and cons to every business and every in every industry. And I say, like I said, for me, the main con was just not really knowing all the time what the living quarters were going to be like, in terms of there's no standard. Sometimes you get like really, really good, and sometimes it's like, okay, this is not as I imagined it would be. But most of the time you're usually performing in high quality, high-so hotels and venues where the pay is nice, and where the venue is beautiful, when you're dressing nice, and you're usually eating the food that's out there, like good quality hotel food and stuff. So where the pay may not be $5,000 a month, you do make up in other avenues, what I'm saying, with getting great food, or being able to use the amenities and nice gym and, nice swimming pool, stuff like that. So just like I would say about any other agency or company or venue, you want to ask as many questions as you can think of. Who am I working with? Where am I staying? What is my job duties? What is this venue like? What is expected of me? Can I see pictures? Ask these questions, and make sure you're okay with the salary before you go. Make sure you're okay with the country, and familiarize yourself with the culture before you go. But I utter and complete thumbs up for ELLive, especially for artists who are interested and have never been overseas before, because there are so many artists who come overseas, and I don't know, luck will have it that you get with an agent who kind of is like a freelance or independent contractor, just kind of brokering a deal with a venue, and they're really not interested in much besides that agency fee that they collect from you every month, or sometimes a one-time finder's fee, and you can't track them down, or you don't know where they are when you need them to get you out of a bind if something happens later. And with a company like ELLive, you don't have to worry about stuff like that. They cover their ass, they cover your ass, and they do what they can to make sure that the focus is predominantly on you as an artist. They do require you to socialize. That was one of my biggest pet peeves too, in terms of like the venue and the gig and the performance. They do want you, and it's business, and it is important for business, and it does make them stand out from other agencies and other companies. So I get it. But as an artist, we all have our moments of like, this is whack or whatever. But, they do expect for you to socialize and to give the customers that feeling of welcome and that feeling of thank you so much, I appreciate you. It's a part of showmanship that they do expect from you. So be prepared for that. Understand that, know that, be ready for it, and figure out a way to use it to your advantage. Get to know these customers, you know what I'm saying? Get them to like you or love you, because if they do, then they're gonna show it, and they're gonna tell the manager, and they're gonna want you to stay and make the manager feel like they shouldn't let you go. So it helps you out in the long run too. But this is one of the companies that I work with that actually push the artists to kind of like get out there and make people feel like you're more than just the entertainment, but you're actually happy that they came. So that's my review of ELLive in a nutshell. Definitely very happy to have that experience, and will recommend it to people who are just coming overseas for the first time, or people who are looking for that kind of familial environment and want to be with a company who's reputable, who is kind of like pioneers in this industry, and good-hearted people who actually enjoy music and have positive intentions that make people feel comfortable, so that they can actually bring other artists out here and talk about their experience and make a better life for themselves. So thanks again for tuning in. It's your girl Phoenix Nobel once again for Musicians on Gigs Artist Spotlight.